What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and Special Operations 18 is now live. With this new release comes plenty of new exciting updates, so let's go ahead and hurry up and cover them all, or at least as many of them as we can. First, let's take a look at these 3 new weapons. There is the Blade Blaster. It has a 50% chance of getting extra follow-up attacks. This sounds pretty awesome with someone like Union Jack or Rocket Raccoon. It also causes pain and bleeding. Next we have the Sticky Situation set item number 3 of 4. The flare launcher deals damage on initial hit before exploding and burning. It also removes buffs but consumes webs, so deals additional damage if the target has tangled web, and even more damage if it has binding web. That sounds pretty great with someone like Spider-Man as your team-up. Lastly, there's the Sonic Knife. It has a sonic counterattack, chance to counter single target and area attacks. It also causes dizzy, weak point, and resonating. Removes beneficial status effects from the target. If no beneficial statuses exist, it prevents the next one applied. This sounds like a pretty decent weapon and I wouldn't mind trying it out. I believe you can get this one by defeating the end boss of Mission 1 Scream. Now let's take a look at the new Daily Roulette item. The Web Axe is set item number 1 of 4. It exploits webbing, causes bleeding, applies exposed if the target has webbed, weakened if it has tangled web, and disadvantage if it has binding web. So this is also going to work out perfectly with someone like Spider-Man. Then the second training slot has finally been released. Unfortunately, when you go to your team tab and you try to unlock it, you're going to see its price is 100 gold. This is very disappointing. That's a ton of gold and I definitely can't get it right now. There's really not too much else to say except for that I'm disappointed. Even 50 gold would have been much better, even though that's quite steep as well. I still would be much happier with paying 50 gold, obviously. So basically that's something that's going to have to wait, and to be honest with you, I don't have that much silver left anyways. Moving on to the actual Spec Ops, we'll take a look at the taskbar and taskbar items. The first research item is going to be the Anti-Serum Bomb. It has very nice bonuses for those of you who need to upgrade your armory. 3,473 offense and defense. Being the first research item, it'll take you 8 hours and 40 unstable ISO 8. Then moving on to the next item on this bar, we actually see a sword, which is a sonic attack. The Sonic Sword has a sonic counterattack, so low chance to counter, and low chance to perform a follow-up. It does also cause weak point and resonating, so it removes beneficial status effects from the target, and if none exist, it prevents the next one applied. The only unfortunate thing is that low chance to counter, and low chance for a follow-up. Hopefully that's changed on the upgraded version. So here we see the Supersonic Sword. It has a chance to gain a follow-up attack, unfortunately no counterattack, but it does also cause weak point and resonating. You'll also notice it does pretty decent damage and has deadly crits. All in all, this may be a pretty good item. But the last weapon on this taskbar is part of the Sticky Situation set. It's number 4 of 4. The Netcaster has webbed, so it applies staggered and constricted. The second application applies tangled web, and the third results in a stun. Obviously this will work out perfectly with Spider-Man, and also if it has 3 Sticky Situation items, you perform a follow-up attack. If you have 4, you perform an extra additional follow-up attack. Now imagine this set with someone like Union Jack or Rocket Raccoon. That actually sounds like a lot of fun with tons of follow-up attacks. However, equipping all 4 of these set items may be a problem, because you'll be missing out on amazing items like the Synthetic Cube. We'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully I get all of the items, that way I can try them out. But that's usually part of the problem, the difficulty in winning them on the roulette. Now for the reward hero, it's going to be Anti-Venom, who is a bruiser. He has a really lengthy passive ability set. First off, he has Dark Force Symbiote. Attacks against symbiotes deal extra damage, chance to restore health, stamina, and remove a debuff each round. Also, attacks that would reduce health to 0 have a chance to reduce health to 1% instead. Next, he has Getting Too Close. Chance to preemptively remove a single beneficial status effect when an enemy attacks using a melee attack. He also has a chance to remove a single beneficial status effect while attacking. Lastly, he has Symbiogenesis. Reduces damage from most fire and sonic attacks by 50%, and he's immune to bleeding, burning, poison, pyrophoric, and radiation. Now that's a lot of amazing passive abilities. And just think, this guy can still have 2 Empowered ISO 8. Let's go ahead and move on to his actual abilities. So first he has Bloodletting. It causes Ravaged, has bleeding ×2, and a 30% chance to remove a single beneficial status effect from the target. What we're going to continue seeing from Anti-Venom is he hates buffs. He's going to be removing them constantly with his passives and his regular attacks. His level 2 is I Am the Cure. It hits all enemies, has Opportunist, Webbed, Depower, and Remove buff. Now that's a pretty awesome second ability. Plus it looks like he's going to be good with a lot of Opportunist characters, and especially Spider-Man. You'll also notice that 30% remove buff chance is a definite theme on all of his abilities. Well, except his level 9, which we'll get to in just a moment. His level 6 Crusade exploits opportunity, exploits bleeds, has hemorrhaging attack, and removes buffs. This looks like it's going to do a ton of damage when there's opportunist debuffs and bleeds on the enemy. I'm definitely interested in seeing just how much damage it can do. And then for his last ability, Cleansing Touch, it starts cooled down unfortunately, but it hits one enemy, ignores defense, and has 2 new debuffs, Sterilize and Purged. Sterilize removes harmful and beneficial status effects from the target, and Purged removes effects from class bonuses, prevents the character from gaining class benefits, and deals damage when removed by status removal effects. That sounds pretty awesome to me, but of course you won't want to use it on someone you have a lot of harmful status effects on, because it will remove those as well as beneficial effects. All in all, I think Anti-Venom looks like a pretty awesome character, and I can't wait to team him up with the likes of Spider-Man. Now there's one last thing we need to look at, and that's the new lockbox character Sandman. Sandman is also a bruiser, and he has 2 pretty nice passive abilities. First off, he has Form of Sand, immune to attrition, electricity, and ground attacks, but he is unfortunately vulnerable to fire and water. Next he has Shifting Sands, gains grit every turn, and chance to gain Dust in the Wind, reducing damage, counterattacking, and gaining grit after being attacked. Now we just have to see what grit does, but I have a feeling we'll find out soon. Moving on to his ability set, his first one is called Pound. Pound is going to be an unarmed melee attack, and that's right, you can use him with Juggernaut, and that should provide some amazing damage boosts. This attack also causes cornered and off balance, and there you see what grit does. Grit increases attack, defense, accuracy, and evasion, and it stacks up to 5 times. So that looks like it's a pretty nice first ability, and I definitely can't wait to see what else Sandman has to offer. His second ability is called Gathering Sand. It's a self-buff that's a quick action, and it has Rising Up and Sand Disperse. So he has a chance to gain Focused, Fortified, Agile, or Strengthened, and then he also has a 50% chance to avoid attacks. Now that I really like. A quick action, a chance for great buffs, and a 50% chance to avoid attacks. What's not to like? Next we have an attack that takes advantage of those Finest Hour buffs, and it's an unarmed melee attack as well. It also consumes all stacks of grit to deal extra damage, so I'm thinking this one is going to do quite a bit. Most Finest Hour attacks already do a lot of damage, and then this one with Juggernaut's boost and 5 stacks of grit, well, I'm thinking it's going to do some major damage. And after all that amazingness, it brings us to his level 9, Sand Spikes. Sand Spikes hits all enemies, it's catastrophic, so it ignores most avoidance effects, it's guaranteed to hit, and can't be protected against. It consumes all stacks of grit to deal extra damage, causes pressure points, and blinded on all the enemies. The only bad part about this is that ground attack, but you could use him with someone like Moonstone who grounds all the enemy targets. Not only that, she also boosts melee attacks, which would help out Sandman. So there you have it, our first look at Spec Ops 18. It's one I'm definitely excited for. Some of the weapons seem decent, and I am interested in trying them out. But the true stars of course are going to be both of these characters, and I think they're very promising. So that's going to be it for our video, but you should stay tuned for plenty more Spec Ops 18 coverage. I will get these characters as soon as I can, and I'll be trying them out in both PvE and PvP. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do that, and please leave a like and a comment. It really helps me out. So thank you all for watching, and until next time, good luck, and take care.